This is EBC Sports International. In part one of this special edition, we highlight some of this year's memorable stories across North America. Hello everyone, I'm Rod De La Paz. First, we take a look back on the 142nd Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show, the second oldest sporting competition in North America, where Flynn, the cute and cuddly Bichon Frise, won Best in Show. EBC New York correspondent Tenny Sumagi with more from the prestigious dog competition in Madison Square Garden. Take a look.
It's the world's greatest dog show competition at the world's greatest arena, the 142nd Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show at Madison Square Garden. 7 breeds, 1 dog. Who will be crowned this year's Best in Show?
This is the Super Bowl of dog shows, so of course it's the most important dog show to win the best of your breed at. Aristo is the #1 St. Bernard in the United States. He's also the #11 working dog of all the working breeds currently here in this country. This has been my favorite breed ever since I can remember. I purchased a St. Bernard and got involved in dog shows, and the rest is history. It was the best decision I ever made.
But only his loyal and loving companion, in the field a swift-moving hunter pointing to upland bird.
This dog has just had my heart from the beginning. That doesn't mean he always shows perfectly, or we always agree, but he's just been a special dog, and I've really enjoyed showing him. It's nice to be 60 years old and enjoy doing something. Getting paid too. This is the perfect way to end his career. He's had an awesome career. I spent about 2 hours being teased by everybody in the back to stop scissoring him, but literally I don't think there was a half a teaspoon of hair it was just kind of air guitaring over the top of him, and but it kind of calmed him down and calmed me down.
Every time I looked at him, he went to his tail. So he sold himself to me. It was great fun to award him.
We'll see you all again here next year. Reporting from Madison Square Garden, I'm Tenny Sumagi for Eagle News 1/25.
Thanks, Tenny. What sport brings fast-paced action, multiple coordination on a glass court in one of New York City's busiest transportation hubs? EBC New York correspondent Joanne Blanco-Soriano tells us more from the J.P. Morgan Tournament of Champions at Vanderbilt Hall inside Grand Central Terminal. Take a look.
The Professional Squash Association holds a series of over 200 tournaments around the globe every year, where players compete for the title of world champion. The Tournament of Champions in New York City is one of 8 major stops of the PSA World Series, where the best male and female players earn qualification points for a spot in the finals. Squash is a fast-moving sport that requires speed, skill, and a high level of fitness. It is played in a court surrounded by 4 walls, typically made of plaster or glass. A player can use all 4 walls to play their shots, just as long as the ball makes contact with the front wall during each shot. The ball can reach speeds of up to 170 miles per hour. Today, squash is played by more than 16 million people in 185 countries. The J.P. Morgan Tournament of Champions has been held in Grand Central Terminal for 21 years. Fans and commuters get a glimpse of the games through the glass walls or on giant TVs in the hall. Battling for the women's title were Egyptians Nour El Sharbini and Nour El Tayeb, who were seeded number 1 and number 8 respectively. These friends and rivals have been competing in world events since childhood. They rallied for 5 games. Noor El-Sherbini is a 2-time world champion. After a disappointing start, she came out on top to claim her second Tournament of Champions title. The men's finals match between number 7 seed Egyptian Tarek Momen and number 8 seed German Simone Rosner went to 4 rounds in this fast-paced competition. Rosner made history as the first German to take home a PSA World Series championship. Reporting from Grand Central Station in New York City, this is Joanne Blanco Soriano, and I am 1 with 25.
Thanks, Joanne. The Vegas Golden Knights capped one of the best Cinderella stories in professional sports history, becoming the first expansion franchise to start with a winning record and reach this year's Stanley Cup Finals. EBC Las Vegas correspondent Anna Cui brings us back to Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals against the Los Angeles Kings outside of the T-Mobile Arena. Take a look.
Hockey, or should I say Vegas Golden Knight, is definitely in the air here in Las Vegas as the first round of the National Hockey League Western Conference playoff continues, and Game 2 goes into double overtime. T-Mobile Arena has a record crowd of 18,588 inside, but we definitely can't ignore these fans outside the arena showing their support with as much anticipation of how this game will end.
Oh, Vegas is going to win. Hopefully, definitely. Vegas strong, baby!
Vegas strong. How do you guys feel about this whole
super
Vegas
excited,
match?
super excited. I love it. I'm a huge fan.
Have you been following them ever since?
Ever since. I've been about 4 games.
4 games?
Yeah.
We don't even watch hockey that much, but it's a team in Vegas, so it's our team now.
One thing is for sure, this hockey team has become a staple in this town. Locals have embraced this team as their very own Vegas-born. Even the giant Statue of Liberty on the Las Vegas Strip now dons a 620-pound Vegas Golden Knights jersey. Just as these fans had hoped, Vegas Golden Knights wins 2-1 against the LA Kings, and we hear from some of them.
Oh, you better believe it. We are so excited. We went to the first one, now the second one.
Golden Knights with the win. We knew this would happen, and it happened.
What do you want to say to the team as they go to LA?
Sweep, baby, sweep. We're going to sweep them. For inaugural season, we're going to sweep. Go Knights, go. Let's go.
It is the most incredible win I've ever seen in my life. Hockey is the best sport I've ever known, that I've ever seen. I love to live in Vegas. I love the fact that we're here, and I love the fact that we are Vegas strong.
What do you want to say to the team as they go to LA?
Congratulations, good luck, keep up that great work, teamwork. Yes. Thank you.
We're going Tuesday to.
I'm going to LA,
bud.
Oh, without doubt.
Let's go now!
And Vegas Golden Knights wins the second game of this playoff, with the fans celebrating and some of them even going to LA on their third game. From the Las Vegas Bureau, I'm Anna Cui, and I'm 1 with 25.
Up next, we'll take a look back at the Greek Peak Spartan Race in Cortland, New York, ski jump mountain racing at the Red Bull 400 in Whistler, British Columbia, and the Reebok CrossFit Atlantic Regionals in West Palm Beach, Florida. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This is EBC Sports International. Wherever an athlete competes, one needs to perfect their skill and have the will to win from start to finish. We look back at 3 physically grueling competitions, starting with the Spartan Greek Peak Winter Sprint in Cortland, New York. EBC New Jersey correspondent Patrick Palugud treks the treacherous obstacle course. Take a look.
On Saturday, March 10th, 2018, over 3,000 athletes from across the U.S. traveled to Cortland, New York to brave the weather and climb the snowy mountains of the Greek Peak as they took on the Spartan Winter Sprint obstacle course race. Along this 5-mile trek over boulders and rocks and through mud and water, the 23 man-made obstacles were not enough to test these Spartan athletes, as the freezing temperatures and steady snowfall added a whole new element to be endured in this challenge. Among the obstacles were events like 7-foot wall climbs, barbed wire crawl, sandbag and rock-filled bucket carries, a rope climb, and the 30-foot-high A-frame cargo net. But for veteran Spartans and first-timers alike, the most anticipated obstacle is the fire jump, which signals the end of the course with the finish line and medal just beyond the smoke and flames. From there, the frozen Spartans admired and boasted their hard-earned jewelry as they lined up to reap further rewards: a banana, protein bar, and a recovery drink. And of course, the finishers' photo booth to ensure lasting proof that they conquered the Spartan Greek Peak, just in case they decided at mile number 2 that they would never do this again. This is Patrick Ivan Palugud for the EBC New York Bureau, and I am 1 with 25.
Thanks, Patrick. From the brisk Catskills Mountains to the beautiful mountains of Whistler, British Columbia, EBC Vancouver correspondent Kathleen Cruz takes us back to the challenges of ski jump mountain running at the Red Bull 400. Take a look.
We are here in Whistler, Canada for the Red Bull 400, the toughest 400-meter race in the world. Runners from around the world have come to challenge the 35-degree ski jump, testing their speed and endurance.
Running for 400 meter may sound easy, but not if one is sprinting in pure uphill. This is the 3rd year that Whistler has hosted the event at Whistler Olympic Park. And this year, about 600 competitors hustle to the top.
Red Bull 400 is the steepest 400-meter race in the world. So unlike a 400-meter run on a flat surface that pretty much anybody can do super quickly, we're sending athletes up an Olympic ski jump. So they're climbing on hands and knees. It takes them 5, 6, 8, 10 minutes to get up the ski jump. So it's a tough 400-meter run.
The ultimate physical challenge is nothing like other. It's a test of human endurance and strength.
Out of body? Yeah. Yeah, I would say like you feel it in your lungs before you feel it in your legs.
In the immediate, not good. You are tired and you want to puke. About half an hour after completing the race, I still want to puke, so I'll get over it, but it feels nice to have completed it.
And why do this?
It started out just as a joke with a friend. We saw the video online and we wanted to register, and just for the challenge.
Okay. And how did you prepare for this race?
I've been working out, doing a lot of leg exercises, a lot of cardio, but then at the end you realize it's just mental and you have to be prepared mentally to confront pain.
When asked about how challenging and absurdly the obstacles up to the ski jump, here's what Jeff Langford has to say.
It's grueling uphill. It's a lot of elevation, obviously, but you also change surfaces. So you're on grassy dirt for the first part, and then you switch to a plywood surface. So where the ski jump is, we cover with plywood and 2x4s. So you're switching surfaces, switching angles. Sometimes you're on hands and knees, and at the top, pretty much everybody just collapses from exhaustion. So it's a good workout.
The grind to the top is challenging and rewarding, especially to a 77-year-old competitor from Vancouver, Canada, whom already competed in 2016. Secret to his 10-minute run is keep going.
It's a real nice race. You just got to be comfortable and take your time. Stay comfortable and look for footsteps that have already been put there. I did this just to challenge my personal self as to what I could do and if I could better, but I didn't come better than last year.
In the end, a 19-year-old athlete, Kuran Lam, has once again won first place for the men's category in under 3 minutes and 54 seconds, 6 seconds longer than his 2016 run. PhD UBC student Robin Mildren finished in an impressive 4 minutes and 45 seconds, defeating the 2016 women's champion Rachel McBride, who finished third in 5 minutes and 1 second. Lamb and Mildren will both represent Canada at the 2018 Red Bull 400 World Championship in Austria. Reporting from Whistler, Canada, here at the Red Bull 400 event, I am Kathleen Cruz for Eagle News. I am 1 with 25.
Thanks, Kathleen. The fittest men, women, and teams competed for a spot in the Nationals at the Reebok CrossFit Atlantic Regionals in West Palm Beach. Here's Florida correspondent Jay Risquidez with more on the competition. Take a look.
The atmosphere is alive here at the Atlantic Regionals at the 2018 CrossFit Games. This grueling 3-day event is designed to test the mental and physical fortitude of these athletes as they compete here in West Palm Beach, Florida, as the pit stop on the road to the fittest.
The Atlantic Regionals were filled with grit and determination from athletes who competed from all over the East Coast. There were 2 events held in each of the 3 days of competition for the men's, women's, and team categories. For the women, Day 1 belonged to Cassidy Lance McWhorter, who ended Event 1 10th overall, but finished 1st overall after completing the second event with 100 points. It was a tight one for the men's division, as Adam Klink finished 2nd overall after 2 events. But after finishing the first event 10th overall, John Colte powered through to gain the top spot for Day 1.
I just kind of put myself at ease. I said that this was my last year competing individually. Actually, I'm going to do team next year. So just with that in mind, I'm just kind of giving it everything I got, and it just mentally, it kind of puts me at ease going through all these events.
Day 2 began with the team division, as Hustle Hard CrossFit came in as runner-up after taking the 8th overall spot in Event 3. However, the top dogs were Team Soul out of Miami, who maintained their lead through both days. Colson Lamb Casey and Cassidy Lance McWhorter topped in their heats, but it was Emily Bridgers who took the lead in the overall standings for the women for Day 2. John Colte dropped from the top spot in Day 1 to 10th overall in Day 2. The competition was tight in the final day of the Atlantic Regionals, as Noah Olsen took first place, and the final 5th placement to advance went to Ethan Helbig for the men's category. In the women's division, Cassidy Lance McWhorter passed up Emily Bridges for the final top spot, and Paige Semenza took the final spot to advance to the games. And in the team division, Team Seoul dominated all throughout the Atlantic Regionals as the top team to advance. And Hustle Hard CrossFit went down in standings, but were able to take the final spot. Although they did not advance to the games, several athletes were still in good spirits and continued to inspire fans and future competitors through teamwork and camaraderie.
It's fun and we get to bond and you never feel alone. So like if you're really tired, you know one of your friends is gonna help you out. So you always have someone to turn to. So it's nice.
Honorable mention goes to Erin Carter. Though she finished last overall in the women's standings, she still managed to advance to the games in the Masters 40 to 44s category.
You actually have more in you because you've been through some things, so you understand when you get out there, when you're in CrossFit, that it hurts, but you've been through a lot worse, and it's always in that, like, there's growth. And as you age, you experience that in all different levels, and CrossFit is just part of that.
And there you have it. The CrossFit Games will begin August 1st through the 5th in Madison, Wisconsin, as athletes from all over the world will gather and find out who will be the fittest on Earth. Signing off from West Palm Beach, Florida, I'm Jay Raskidas with the Florida Bureau, always one with 25.
Thanks, Jay. Coming up, more from our EBC correspondents with news on NCAA college football and the NBA. Plus, memorable moments in professional sports from January to June. That's next. EBC Sports International will return in a moment. And we're back. This is EBC Sports International. I'm Rod De La Paz. NCAA College Football Division I in-state rivals, the Tulane Green Waves and the Louisiana Raging Cajuns, battled for the 29th time at the AutoNation Cure Bowl. EBC Florida correspondent Melissa Potez with the action from Orlando's Camping World Stadium. Take a look.
The fourth annual AutoNation Cure Bowl, held in Orlando, Florida, was the Battle of the Bayou, with the Louisiana Raging Cajuns taking on the Tulane Green Wave. The AutoNation Cure Bowl is played annually on the third Saturday of December at Camping World Stadium. Since its inaugural game in 2015, $3.55 million have been raised for breast cancer research. This year's bowl game between the Louisiana Raging Cajuns and the Tulane Green Wave was the 29th meeting of these two teams, with Tulane leading 22-6. Their last meeting in 2016 was decided after quadruple overtime, with Tulane earning the win. The game started off quickly, with both teams scoring touchdowns on their opening possessions. Louisiana would strike first with a 38-yard touchdown run by Raymond Calais. The Green Wave would strike back with a 15-yard rushing touchdown by Bradwell. What appeared to be an offensive shootout, Tulane began to impose its will on the Raging Cajuns. Bradwell ran at will against the defense, and at the end of the first half, Tulane would lead Louisiana 24-10. In the second half, the Raging Cajuns were able to make adjustments and creep back into the game, trailing Tulane by only 3 points with 10:16 left to play. The Green Wave would answer back with a 13-play, 75-yard drive that ate over 6 minutes off of the clock. This drive was led with heavy doses of Bradwell, along with a momentum-shifting 4th and 7 conversion of a slant pass from quarterback Justin McMillan to tight end Charles Jones II for a 15-yard gain. A few plays later, Bradwell was able to score and Louisiana was never able to recover. The final score of the game was 41-24 Tulane. In their post-game interviews, both Tulane and Louisiana head coaches spoke about their team's performance.
I think a lot of it's going to have to do with what we could have done better, in my opinion. Now, I won't know that until we watch the tape, but certainly Tulane made some adjustments. They did a few things differently, and I think today's outcome is a direct reflection of who blocked better, who tackled better, who covered better, who threw and caught the ball better. I mean, there's nothing secret about what happened out there today. Our team was not ready to play.
Did a great job moving the football. We had the ball for twice as much as them. We had it for almost 41 minutes, and they had the ball for 19 minutes. And when you do that, normally you're going to win pretty good if you're not giving up big plays, which for the most part we did. But offensively, great job chewing it up. And when we're on the sideline defensively, we're always playing pretty good defense. So.
While Tulane would go on to win the 2018 Auto Nation Cure Bowl, the real winners are the brave women everywhere who are battling breast cancer and will benefit from funds raised for the Breast Cancer Research Foundation. Reporting to you from Camping World Stadium in Orlando, Florida, I'm Melissa Potes, and I'm always one with 25.
Thanks, Melissa. LeBron James' 36 points, 13 rebounds, 8 assists performance at Barclays Center wasn't enough to carry the LA Lakers to stop the Brooklyn Nets, led by D'Angelo Russell last week. Here is EBC New Jersey correspondent Carlo Valdez with the recap. Take a look.
LeBron James and the LA Lakers take on the Brooklyn Nets as they try to snap their 5-game winning streak.
In a sold-out crowd at Barclays Center, LeBron James and company take on the surprisingly red-hot Brooklyn Nets. The Lakers try to end their last road game of the trip with a win, but even the Kings' stellar 36-point performance could not quite handle the Nets, losing 115-110.
When you get blown by, there's not much you can do. With their offense and the way they're moving side to side, we felt we weren't getting any stops with our traditional lineup, so we felt going small would at least get them out of their rhythm a little bit, which it did. I felt like we got plenty of stops in the second half. We just didn't make shots when we needed to. And tonight, they got off to the third quarter, got to a 17-point lead, playing catch up. We had our opportunity.
Nets guard D'Angelo Russell led the team with 22 points and 13 assists en route to their 6-game winning streak against his former team.
Yeah, it's a great feeling. I've personally never been in that position at this level to win 6 in a row. Definitely not satisfied. Want to give ourselves a chance to keep it going. The streak's in eventually, but want to keep it going.
Reporting for EBC Sports International here at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, I am Carlo Valdez, 1 with 25.
Thanks, Carlo. Finally, as the year comes to a close, we end the show reflecting on professional sports' memorable moments from January to June. The greatest champions have once again made headlines for their accomplishments, failures, and controversies. Age is but a number to many athletes like Roger Federer. Tennis Open era's greatest champion stacked more hardware to his trophy collection, winning his 20th Grand Slam at the Australian Open, beating rival Rafael Nadal. Former world number 1 Caroline Wozniacki cemented her name to the record books, winning her first Grand Slam of her career. Tom Brady and the New England Patriots continued to prove to critics why they are the most successful NFL team. But MVP Nick Foles and Philadelphia Eagles spoiled the heavily favored Pats' run for another title, giving the city of brotherly love their first Super Bowl. Pyeongchang was the host site of the Winter Olympics Games, where a unified Korea marched together in the opening ceremonies, but marched apart during the closing ceremonies. The starlets who struck gold for Team USA include 17-year-old snowboard phenom Chloe Kim, who became the youngest woman to win an Olympic medal. Keegan Randall and Jessica Diggins won USA's first ever gold medal in cross-country skiing, and U.S. women's hockey team claimed their second ever gold medal a decade after winning. Add Oscar winner to Kobe Bryant's resume. The NBA All-Star champion and Lakers great won Best Animated Short Film for Dear Basketball, a narrative poem he wrote based on his retirement from the sport. March Madness created some buzz-worthy headlines. The Villanova Wildcats, led by outstanding player Dante DiVincenzo, outplayed the Michigan Wolverines for the national title. One of the biggest flops of the tournament belonged to the Virginia Cavaliers, becoming the first #1 seed to fall to a 16th seeded team in NCAA tournament history. The infamous ball tampering scandal, which rocked the Australian national cricket team. Cameras caught Cameron Bancroft placing sandpaper down his trousers to illegally alter the condition of the ball during Australia's third Test series against South Africa. Bancroft received a 9-month ban, while former captains Steve Smith and David Warner were banned from the sport for 1 year in their involvement to cheat. The City of Angels welcomed their first king. MLS LA Galaxy signed former Manchester United star Zlatan Ibrahimovic, continuing the tradition of landing soccer's elite players like David Beckham and Landon Donovan. America's pastime, Major League Baseball welcomed Japanese star Shohei Ohtani, the first player since Babe Ruth to pitch and hit in regular season games. Rafael Nadal continues to reign supreme as the king of clay at the French Open, while Simona Halep made her mark, winning her first Grand Slam on the red clay at Roland Garros. Brooks Koepka proved why he is the world's best, conquering the golf course of Shinnecock Hills to defend as U.S. Open champion. Vegas Golden Knights' miraculous season ended in the hands of Alex Ovechkin and the Washington Capitals en route to their first Stanley Cup. Zinedine Zidane walks away from Real Madrid on a high note, resigning as manager days after leading the club to its third consecutive Champions League title. Lastly, the Golden State Warriors' legacy continues to build, sweeping past LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers for the third NBA title in 4 years, giving Kevin Durant his second consecutive Finals MVP. That's all for this special edition of EBC Sports International. Tune in next time as we continue our best of 2018 in sports from around the globe. Have a happy and safe New Year. I'm Rod De La Paz, 1 with 25.